Marketing Your Private Practice is a podcast where you'll learn easy to implement tips and strategies to grow your business without spending all day online. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and I teach practitioners the Thrive marketing method to create simple and streamlined plans by focusing on long-term strategies, not just social media. Discover ways to spend less time on your marketing, attract more clients, and build the financial freedom that comes with a thriving practice. One where you have time left in your day for the people and things that matter to you. Hey, private practice heroes. Thanks for tuning into the podcast today. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and I am so happy you're listening today because we're going to answer a question I often get asked by new members in the Thrive Marketing Academy, which is, what website pages do I really need to have to make my website live? And often this comes from a place of having tried to build or update their website. And in that quest to make it perfect, the process has taken so much longer than expected. Who out there was building their website for the first time and thought, oh, I'll be able to get it up in a couple weeks? And often weeks turn into months and sometimes even longer. I've had people come to me who've been trying to build a website for over a year. And the thing about it, with this process taking so much time and trying to aim for that perfect website, it's actually meant that you're being held back from launching that website, which in a lot of cases, when you're not launching your website, people actually hold back from launching the actual business. All because they're waiting to get that website to perfect status. Now, don't get me wrong. You can definitely run a business without a website. But at some point, that decision to not have a site will only help you stagnate or slow down your growth. It's the same way aiming for the perfect website is actually holding you back from growth too. Why do these things hold you back? Because of the expectations of consumers in today's online world. People look at websites for businesses as a mandatory thing. They expect businesses to have a website. And often it's because when they're making the decision to move forward and work with somebody to hire them, they want to check you out first. And most people are going to go to your website to do this. That's why if your website isn't online or you've just got words up there coming soon, you're missing out on opportunities for new clients, which also means more revenue. And even for you folks who say, well, Kathy, I don't need a website because my clients all come from referrals. I hate to break it to you, but if you think you don't need a website when you only have referral clients, you are mistaken, my friend. I can promise you that even when folks are referred to you by a trusted source, many of them will still check you out on your website before reaching out. People want to feel good about their decision to hire somebody, to pay them for a service. And to help with that, that means they often want to learn more about you when they're in the decision-making process. And this is why, referral or not, most people will use your website to check you out. And honestly, that's just one of the many roles your website is going to play, but it is a really important one. And that's what the lesson today is all about, giving you an answer to that question on what do you really need as the minimum amount of pages and information on your website to have it be an effective website for your business or practice. And by the way, the answer to this question will also explain why you should never underestimate the importance of your website and the role it plays in attracting new clients. So let's talk minimum for a website. And as we get into this, I want you to remember something. Your website is going to be one of the most fluid and ever-changing marketing tools you have for your business. Well, maybe next to business cards. I know a lot of people change business cards, although recently with the post-COVID world and not having a whole lot of in-person stuff, people aren't using business cards as much as they used to either. But I will tell you, this website that you have, it will change over time. And I promise you that it'll probably change more than once too. Ask anybody who's been in business for more than 7 years, and I'm willing to bet that they've probably changed their website at least once, if not more than once. And the reason is your website has a big role to play in your business. It guides people on a journey and a path to learn more about you, how you can help your clients, what happens to clients when they work with you, and even how to get started working with you. So because of this goal, there are 5 core pages or messages that every practice or business should consider on their website in order to have that bare minimum messaging that is key on this journey, the journey for people to learn more about you. Now, I know for some of you folks, especially those starting out, you may struggle to figure out how to get a website up and running. But whatever you can do to make it real, please persist and work through it and get it up and running. Get help if you need to. There's lots of people out there that can help get a website online. There's lots of do-it-yourself types of websites. And a lot of people start that way. I did. I came into my business 16 years ago, and I had some skills and ways of putting a website online. But even for me, I did one of the done-for-you ones that was just kind of a drag and drop, build it, get it up there, because that's what I needed to get it up and running. And so that's really critical in this process, that you do what you can to get it up there, knowing that you're going to change it over time. Okay? So for some of you, that first website might be 1 page, but even with that 1 page, you want to make sure the jobs of these 5 core pages, which is really a message, a specific message for each of these 5 pages, you want to ensure that they're covered in that 1-page website. So when you're choosing the core pages for your website, you need to remember what is the main goal you want to have happen, and what do you want those folks visiting your website to know? And typically it is 3 main things: who you are, how you help people, which by that I typically mean the services you offer, and how they can contact you and get started. Okay, I guess that I said 3 things, but it's really 4. Overall, there's 5 things we're going to talk about here, but let's forget numbers here for a minute. Obviously, my math is not on point here. We're looking at 5 core pages, and these 5 pages each have a message, and that's it. Getting this info on your website is something you need to ensure is there so that when people are checking you out, they can get the basics from your website. And as you grow and you get to the point where you can add more to it, you'll do that. But for now, especially for those who've got that quest for the perfect website and you don't have anything up now, and it means you're kind of hiding behind that block of the perfect website, I want you to jump over that block and get this done. Okay? That's all people want to know, is those few things: who you are, how you help people, how to contact you and get started. They want to know that you understand their problem. Okay? That's it. So let's review these 5 pages and the message on each one that you want to make sure is there to be the most effective possible. Actually, hold on a second. I'm going to back up for a minute. Before we talk about these 5 core pages, I want to cover something else every page will need. I'm going to mention it as we go through this list, and it's really the element that I talked about in the previous episode here on the podcast number 81, which is the one element to get more clients that you need on every page of your website. And that's a call to action, a CTA, some guidance as to what they do next. So a CTA is going to be included on all of these pages that we talk about here, as well as the main content and message I'm talking about too. This lesson today, though, is really just going to focus on that main content and message. So you will want to go back and listen to episode 81 if you haven't, to learn more about the CTAs that I'm going to tell you as we go through this list that you need on every page. Okay? So the first page, of course, is going to be the home page. And a home page is really all about giving folks an overview that assures them that they understand and know that you get what problem they have and how it's affecting them. It should also share that they can get help from you and overcome that problem because you have a solution for them. So you want to give them some sort of vision of their future self or life on this page. You may highlight a little of your services and have a call to action to get more info on your services page. And then under that, have a simple 3-step process for how they can get that help from you. And these 3 steps should include something like we'll talk about how to get started. So book a call. The second step here is what they're going to do with you when they're working together. So in this case, I don't want you to get into the details, fill out a form, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be something we're going to put together a custom nutrition plan to help you manage your diabetes. So if we're talking dietitian business here, okay? So that's what we're going to do. The second step is when they work with you, they get that custom plan. The third step should be how their life will change or be transformed with your help. Now you're going to be able to get out there and not worry about living your life because you've got your diabetes under control and know how foods will affect what you need to do. Okay, I don't have an actual dietetics degree here, so you get the idea though. The 3-step process on how to get help, I want you to understand that it's not diving into the nitty gritty here. It's step A, book a call. Step B, what they're going to do when you work together. And step C, how their life will change after they get your help. That's the 3 steps. And then underneath it, you would have a button that says book a call now. My website has a sample of this, and I will put an image of my sample 3 steps in the show notes page. And you can find that at marketingyourprivatepractice.com/82. There will be a link there to that in the show notes wherever you're listening in. So the thing that you want to do here is you want to make sure that you've got a way and you tell them very pointedly how they can get started working with you. Underneath this, you can introduce yourself a little more, give them a call to action to go to your About page for more information. You might include a couple testimonials on your homepage. And for these, keep the best ones here and keep them brief. If they're really long, cut out some of the added content and save the best words for this page. So don't put a ton of words on here for a testimonial. Just highlight some really good things people have said. And this homepage should also have clear navigation, like a navigation menu to other key pages. And you should finish it off with a call to action for them to explore further or get in touch. If you have a lead magnet, you could also have a call to action for that, because further up, you've already given them a way to start working with you. If they've gotten to the bottom and they haven't clicked one of those buttons to book a call, maybe they'll sign up for your lead magnet. So that's the basics of what you need to have on the homepage. The second page or message that we want to have on a minimum viable website here is an About page. And this is a simple page, and I mentioned it earlier that you might talk about yourself on the homepage and link to your About page. So this is a page that gives visitors detailed information about the company, your business, your background and mission, as well as the key individuals involved. So if you have a team, you might want to highlight who the team is. If it's just you, you can highlight you. You can also include a couple testimonials here if you have any, or success stories if you want to work them in that way to build your credibility. The other thing that you can do here, and if you want to visit my website, pepperitmarketing.com, my main website, you can see it on here, is I have under my About page, Kathy's story. And I have this story of how I got into business and doing what I do. And I go into the background of that. So sometimes that background info, if it's really relevant to what you do now or interesting for people, it can give them some really nice insight into you. And that often can be the thing that people will really be attracted to you for, that helps you stand out from somebody else that they're considering. So don't be shy, especially if you have a really cool story. For me, I actually started my business because someone told me to. They told me the type of business I should start, and they told me how to get started. They said I would be really good at it. And they even gave me some information on a program that the government here in Canada offered to help people start a business. So it's an interesting story. And I talk a bit about how that happened and how I got into marketing and all the things I learned about myself as I did this process. So it's not my about information, it's my background and story. So if you want to have that, or if you have a really good one, put it in there. But you don't need that to make this website live. It's not part of that perfect website. You don't have to have something like that there. And whenever I talk about testimonials, if you are starting out, you do not have to have testimonials either. These are things, if you have them, great, put them up. You can add more as you go, though. So that second page is really giving people information about you and your business and some of the background on you. And make sure it's not all, unless it's relevant, of course, for your business and people hiring you, but make sure it is not all about education and credentials. People want to know you. They're not necessarily going to go checking out what all your degrees are and credentials and all of that. They just want to know you're a good person that's going to help them. So keep that in mind with your about page or information. The third page is your services page. And this one is one where you may have an overview of all your different services, and then it may take people to another page to get more details on each type of service. But the main purpose of this page is to give people information about the services you offer clients, should they want more details. So for instance, I mentioned that on the homepage, when you talk about the services you offer, you might have a link to take them to the services page. Well, this is where you might describe a little more the specific type of services you have or the programs that you have. So this page is definitely one where you'll want some detailed descriptions of the services, any packages you offer, anything like that. And then you want to have a clear call to action for people to learn more or get in touch with you or sign up and book a call. Okay. So this is information that you do want to have that really details what the different services you offer are. Starting out, just make it a short page with a description of the services and include some calls to action to get started. If you want to put detailed descriptions in, you can, but just be careful about putting too much information on here. If you offer, group sessions and individual services and self-study programs, maybe lay that out, but you don't have to put a ton of info here. Give them the basic services that you have and offer so that they can get that information from you. The fourth page, and this is one that is really more relevant for private practice owners. So for those nutritionists or clinicians or therapists that are listening in. So your businesses for clients are a little bit different in appointments and policies sometimes, and I say sometimes, than someone listening that might have a service-based business like a coach or a course creator or somebody like that. So when you look at the policies page, and what I'm really looking at here is more appointments and policies. So this is where you want to have a clear and concise outline of your business policy. So you want to have information on how they make payments, scheduling, cancellations. You want to list out if you have insurance companies that you take and how that works. You want to really just be transparent about how your company operates when it comes to appointments. Because in the wellness industry and health and wellness, people know and understand typically that businesses like that, when you're booking appointments, if you don't show up, there may be a cancellation fee. If you don't cancel within 24 or 48 hours, there may be a fee. So you really want to be clear about this and list out that kind of information on the policies and appointments. You can call it appointments and policies, whatever you want to call it, but give people the information on booking those types of services and what's involved in having appointments. What you're really doing here is reassuring potential clients on what to expect when they begin working with you. How you book appointments, what the cancellation policy is, can the insurance cover it, how does that work? Now, I know for other businesses, it's annoying in some ways because people do feel for whatever reason that doctors and dentists and therapists have these kinds of policies for cancellation that they just don't seem to think translate to other business types. And the reality is it's just as important for any business because if someone books an appointment with you, it's time you block out of your day. And if they don't show up, it's lost revenue for you. And unfortunately, not everybody understands and appreciates that. So if that is really important for your business and it may not be in a wellness one, this may be where you want a policies page like this as well. And I know a lot of you are thinking, well, do I put my fees on there or not? That really depends on you. Fees and prices on websites are really something that people are all in for or not. It just depends on how you want to go about it. You're kind of the type of business that you have, the types of clients, how you book services. It really all depends on that. Some people like having prices to make sure that if people can't afford them, they don't waste their time with free discovery calls. Some people don't want to put it out there because it'll scare people off. And if they talk to them, they'll understand the value in paying those fees and they can make the sale. So it is a choice that you have to make on your own, but this may be where you put some type of fees listed. Your fees could be listed on the services page too. It really depends on how you want to set that up. But most importantly, a policies page is really all about giving them all the details on what happens when they start booking appointments with you. And especially if insurance is part of it. And handy tip for everybody there, if you do take insurance, having the words, we accept insurance, insurance-based care, and even the names of the types of companies you take insurance for. Those are all good keywords to have on that page for your website too. All right. And the fifth page that we want to make sure you include, the fifth core website page and message. This page actually is the most important page after the homepage. It is the most recognizable page people search for to book a call or to book an appointment with you. They want to reach out to you when they're looking for this page, so you have to make sure they can easily find it. And it's the contact page if you haven't figured that out already. It should always repeat your name and company information at the top, along with your contact information, your phone number, and address if applicable. And I always say at a minimum, put your state or province in there if you don't want to give away a home address, just because those are all keywords for you. Your name is a keyword, your company name, your title, all that information, including the city or province or states that you live in, is relevant to as a keyword. So I do recommend including all that. Now, what I don't recommend is don't make your email live on this page, or the spammers out in the world will easily find it and sell it. And then you'll start finding yourself getting more and more crap emails and spam. It's because you've got your website with a live link to your email address. So if you have that now, take it off. Use the contact form. Every website and almost every system for websites out there has some sort of way for you to put a contact form on the contact page, ideally. It could go on any page though. And you want to use this for inquiries because that's the way people should reach out to you and contact you by email instead of a live email link. It protects you from getting the spam and all the issues that come with that. So the one thing I say too, though, is be sure you test it out regularly and make sure that you're getting those contact emails. A lot of website systems will actually save the email information in the back end, so you can always look it up there as well. And when you do this on this contact page, the other thing that I like to make sure you have, if you let people book directly in your online calendar versus emailing you saying, I want to book an appointment, and then you email them back, and then they email you, and you end up all this back and forth, and it gets crazy. If you have an online calendar, this is the place to have that button so that it stands out so they can easily book that appointment with you in your online calendar. So on the contact page, this is pretty much the only CTA that you want to have on here is how to contact you and book and reach out. Some people tell you to put your social media links and stuff on there. I just like to keep those in the footer of the website. Keep it simple. Keep them on your website, not sending them off to social media, by the way. And so I really like to just have the contact page be very simple. Your information, how to reach out to you, phone number if you want them to phone, a book into your online calendar if they want to, and a contact form. And that's pretty much all you need to have on there. And I do have an episode of the podcast where I focused on what to include on a contact page. And I gave you all sorts of tips on how to reduce spam and other things. So I will put a link to that episode in the show notes, wherever you're listening to this episode as well. But that's it. Those are the 5 core pages and messages that every website needs to be effective for clients to find you and reach out. And like I said earlier, if you are only in a position where you can do a 1-page website right now, then make sure that on that page you cover all of these main points. Okay. Now, I will say there are 3 more key pages that you should have if you're ready for them, on a website too. And I am going to cover that in the next episode. So stay tuned for that one. You might want to hit follow wherever you're listening to the podcast so that you don't miss out on that one, because it will just sort of take some of these core website pages and we'll talk about some other ones that will help you also attract and book more clients. But for now, I simply want you to remember that your website needs to have these 5 core messages, either on 1 page or on 5 pages, and the breakdown of the information that people need at a minimum when visiting your website to check you out. So as a reminder, the 5 pages and messages are your home, your about, your services, your policies, and your contact pages. These pages should be designed to provide the essential information people need and encourages those visitors to take the next step with you, whether it's reaching out for more info, reading something else on the website, or engaging with you to get started. And you can learn more about some of those ways to do the CTAs in the previous episode that I mentioned earlier. And again, I'll link to that in the show notes. I will tell you, I once did a marketing assessment session with someone, and one of the pages we optimized and focused on was her contact page. And within 24 hours of following the same type of advice I'm telling you here, and one of the things as part of that advice, I told her to make her website live. And I also told her to optimize her social media profiles so people could reach out to her. When she did that, because she was someone who had that coming soon message on her website, and so she was hiding it. She had a lot of stuff up and ready, but she just didn't think it was perfect. But once she made that live, within 24 hours, she had 5 people reach out within 1 day to book a call with her. People were looking to talk to her. People were trying to reach out, and she did not have an easy way for them to do that. It makes a big difference. You have to understand you do not need a picture perfect, 1000% perfect website to make this happen. You just need those 5 core pages and the messages for each page. So now we're kind of at the end here. And this is where I want to talk about your action step from this lesson. I really want you to take a look at your website or think about what you're working on if you're in the middle of creating or updating your website. Get these 5 core pages and their messages in place. Even if it's all on one long page, that's okay. The main goal here is you need to make sure that if someone were to look you up online, can they find you or your business? And more importantly, can they learn and understand that you know what their problem is, and they can learn who you are, how you help people, and how to contact you to get started working with you. Home, about, services, policies, contact. That's all you need. And that's all anyone needs to find you too. Think about how they find you from various situations. I promise you, even if you have that referral business you're talking about, some of those people are checking you out online too. And all they need to see are those 5 core pages and messages. And if you need some help figuring out some of that messaging on your homepage or any of these 5 pages, why not book a free marketing review with me? I offer them free as part of the podcast. It's not scary. You just get on a quick call with me. We go through some of your main roadblocks. And in this case, if you're having trouble with the website, talk to me. Let's go through, figure out what's blocking your website, get those 5 core messages on there, and get you moving so that you are ready for people to come and visit your website and that they know how to reach out and get started with you. They can check you out online, click a button, and reach out and get working with you. And that's it. That's all I wanted to share today. This is Kathy Colaiacovo signing off, saying thanks for listening in, and be sure to hit follow wherever you're listening on your podcast player app so that you're notified about new episodes. And if you know anyone who's procrastinating with their website, be sure to share this episode with them too. Because remember, to thrive in practice means having a website that can offer visitors these 5 core messages. And that's the minimum you need to have an effective website that helps you get more clients. I'll see you next time. You can find all of our show notes and resources mentioned at marketingyourprivatepractice.com. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at pepperitmarketing and say hi. I'd love to hear any feedback you have, and make sure to rate and review the podcast and hit subscribe on your favorite player so you don't miss any future episodes.